Funding for the Maddy Report is made possible by grants from Comcast, the Spencer Family, Chevron, Community Health System, Harris Ranch Resort, Producers Dairy, Caleb and Desiree House, Valley Children's Health Care, and The Wonderful Company. Additional support provided by from the Maddy Institute, the Public Policy Institute for the Valley's public universities. This is the Maddy Report with Executive Director of the Maddy Institute, Blake Zanti.
Welcome to the Maddy Report. Today we're joined by Suresh Kumar, former Additional Chief Secretary Development and the Chief Principal Secretary for the Government of Punjab, India. Suresh is an officer of Indian Administrative Service, or IAS, who joined the state of Punjab, India in 1983. He has core experience in governance and policymaking for nearly 4 decades. We'll be discussing the differences of agriculture and water policy in the San Joaquin Valley and Greater California with those in Punjab, India. And thanks for joining us today on the program, Suresh. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Well, before we begin, Suresh, could you just share a little bit about your role and responsibilities as Chief Principal Secretary and also your dedication to advance agricultural and water policies? Maybe just share about some of the efforts you've been involved with for our viewers today.
Thank you, Blake. Thank you for having me here. I'm glad you raised that question. Yes, my last assignment was Chief Principal Secretary to the Chief Minister of Punjab, India. And I was handpicked for that assignment just to coordinate policies, programs on behalf of the Chief Minister across all departments. But my special interest was always in agriculture, food systems, energy, water resources. Not because that I've spent more time in this. Last 2 decades have always been assigned these portfolios in Government of Punjab, India, but also because of the seriousness of the issue the Punjab faced. Agriculture, as you know, is the bloodline of the state of Punjab, India. We, with 1.5% area, we produce nearly 20 to 25% food grains and food stocks for our nation. We are a state, we in Punjab provided, the farmers of Punjab provided food security to the nation.
For viewers who may not be familiar, could you just share a little bit about some of the pressing issues and maybe how the governance structure works as well?
Blake, you are right. We have a large presence of Punjabi diaspora in the valley, in the state of California. And one reason why we have more Punjabis here is that Punjabis, the main occupation has been in agriculture, and agriculture in California is more attractive, attracts them to come to California, settle down. And the earliest settlers from Punjab, India to California, they all came to California because of agriculture. Now, I can tell you one anecdote here. Once we were traveling with the state chief minister to California, and he wanted to see some good farms. And we went around and saw many farms in California. And every farm we will visit, there'll be a Punjabi farmer. So the chief minister in the lighter side said, no, I don't want to see Punjabi farms, I want to see American farms. So the reply came from even the people, the officials of Government of California who were conducting him, who were assisting and facilitating his visit, said, every farmer here is a Punjabi farmer. So that's the relationship we have with California, the Punjab India has with California, and we are proud of it. Truly, while there are common interests, the Punjabi farmers, the Punjabi diaspora has learnt a lot from new way of doing agriculture, new way of agriculture practices. There are common issues which California faces. And the most serious issue which the farmers of Punjab, India and farmers of California also probably are realizing is the water scarcity, the depletion of water, the declining quality of water. Now, you may be aware that nearly 80% of development blocks of Punjab, India are water scarce. The water quality has gone down, the water table has gone down. As a result, we do not have sufficient groundwater to do the agriculture operations, to do the intensive agriculture the way we are doing it. Now, it's not that we don't have surface water, we don't have river waters in Punjab, India. We do have. We have about 3 eastern rivers of Indus systems, Satluj, Ravi and Beas, we have about 35 million acre feet water, which meets 75%, which can provide for 75% of our total water demand. But unfortunately, we get only 40% of that surface water, and the remaining water is shared with other states which are in more need. So the farming in Punjab, India is largely dependent on groundwater, and that groundwater is depleting. With the depletion of groundwater, and depletion has become much faster because the electricity which is used, the energy which is consumed is given to the farmers, the agricultures, the producers free of charge. Now that free electricity has caused a lot of damage of water resources. It is damaging the soil quality, and it is making the agriculture operations unsustainable. Now this concern, and then of course this also is further impacted by the climate change. Now climate change, with the melting of glaciers, declining rainfall, rising temperature, these three visible impacts of climate change. With these, the demand for water is rising. Availability of water is going down, and that's what is causing stress on the farmers in terms of quality of food grains, in terms of quantity of food grains. Production and productivity both are threatened, and sustainability is doubtful.
Thank you. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this. Up next, we'll talk a little bit about some of the differences and similarities between those in Punjab, India, and the San Joaquin Valley as it comes to agriculture. This is the Maddy Report. Welcome back. In this segment, we'll be exploring some of the shared and unique challenges that affect policymaking in Punjab and in the San Joaquin Valley. Suresh, thank you for joining the Maddy Report today. Really appreciate you being on the program.
Thank you, Blake.
And let's, earlier you were beginning to talk about some of the unique challenges that are impacting agriculture in Punjab. But what are some of the different challenges that farmers face in Punjab compared to the San Joaquin Valley? And maybe just talk about, I think a lot of the things that you touched on, groundwater availability for agriculture, these are things that we're also experiencing in California. But are there any unique challenges specifically to Punjab and Punjabi farmers that may be different here in the San Joaquin Valley?
Blake, we should appreciate that agriculture, among many other things, is largely dependent on water. And the irrigation challenges, what we see in the valley as well as in Punjab, India, are almost similar. We need more water. We have insufficient water resources for irrigation. Irrigation practices need to be better, more improved. We need to have more intelligent irrigation systems. We need to invest more and make irrigation technologies more affordable. Now, these challenges are common, and with the insufficient water not being treated, of course, in California, in the valley, you treat water as an economic commodity. In Punjab, we do not treat it. We take it as a public good, and public commodity comes free. These challenges of free commodity, free public good, and then as compared to that, challenges of economic, these are the differences. You use more technology. We are less tech savvy when it comes to irrigation. We are largely dependent on flood irrigation, whereas you guys are doing more of micro drip irrigation, more intelligent systems of irrigation. But at the same time, the political sensitivity, the emotive issue of water is common to agriculture both in Punjab and India. The agriculture here is also politically very sensitive, so is it Punjab. Punjab politics, in fact, is based on agriculture. And people here are also in valley also are very touchy about agriculture. You see the issues you are facing in the valley and the delta. You can't extract more water. Water table may be improving or may be declining, but you need more water for agriculture. You can't declare. The environmentalist will object to it. In our case, we have no enforcement mechanism. We do not have, we have the laws. It's not that we don't have. We have water conservation laws as we have it in the valley, we have it in the California state. But at the same time, there is no enforcement of water regulations. People draw water from the ground as and when they can do it, wherever they can do it. They just put the pumps and they dig the pumps and just... This is not possible in California. California has more enforcement capacity. The laws are rigid. Laws are strictly enforced. Water is paid. Water is not free. Energy is not free. As compared to this, Punjab faces a serious challenge of enforcement, serious policy making, serious drawbacks in the policies where water is free, energy is free, and this water, energy, and food nexus is causing a lot of damage. On the one side, we want more food, want the more production, more productivity. At the same time, we want to conserve our water resources. Now, this paradox needs to be resolved. And for this, we need to build our institutional structure which are able to enforce the laws.
Maybe talk about some of the difference in the governance structures and regulatory framework so that folks can understand, why is it that maybe California has stricter enforcement mechanisms or better ways of enforcing the laws versus Punjab, and what would it potentially take to be able to get to that point?
See, let's appreciate that agriculture and water both are in India, both are state subjects. We have state regulations, but we have national regulations too. The environment control, environment management, and environment regulations are a national subject. Now, environmental laws do not permit you waste of water. They emphasize conservation of water. They want sustainable agriculture. But at the same time, when it comes to states, the local politics, the local economic pressure, the pressures of the livelihood compel people not to stop anybody from digging tube wells. You will appreciate that till 2020, we did not have any law on regulating the groundwater. In our laws and Constitution of India, the groundwater word is not used. It's only in 2020 in Punjab we enacted a water regulatory law, a new law to manage, develop and our groundwater resources. But implementation of that law requires structural capacities. Those structural capacities have not been built. The state politics, the state people of power, the policy makers in the state do not want to in any way touch upon agriculture or agriculturists, and they do not want the laws to be enforced as strictly as it should be. And there the water becomes an emotive subject. Agriculture becomes a highly politically sensitive, and these water emotions and the political sensitivities of agriculture are I would even call it the pernicious politics of agriculture. Do not let the laws to be enforced as strictly, as emphatically in Punjab, India, as they should be. Contrary to this, it's not that you don't have politics in California or in US. You have politics. Water is an emotive subject here also. Water is sensitive subject here. But the laws here, violation of law is very difficult. Two, you have a very, very strong lobbying of environmentalists.
That's a very interesting comparative political, discussion. And I think we're going to dive into it in a little bit more in just a moment. But just fascinating to hear about the difference in the regulatory framework and structure. We'll be right back after this. We're going to take another quick break. This is the Maddy Report. Welcome back to the Maddy Report. We'll now be taking a closer look at the current agricultural and water policies, as well as efforts in both regions and the goals behind these policies. Suresh, thanks again for joining us today on the program. In the summer of 2025, Punjab approved its first ever integrated state water plan in order to conserve, replenish, and manage water resources across Punjab. You talked about earlier in the segment how it's a free commodity in India compared to here, where you have to pay for it in California. Talk more about this, and why was this plan seen as a positive step forward?
See, this integrated water plan is part of the law which was enacted in 2020, the water regulatory law, under which the water regulatory authorities have been set up not only in Punjab, India, but also in Haryana. Now, these laws require the state to prepare the integrated water plan. That intuitively implies that you need to do water budgeting, you need to do water measurement, and water should be metered. Water supplies should be metered. Now, you would be amazed to see that water is unmetered, it is free, it is not, no water budgeting or no water planning was done so far. While in California, in the valley, you hear every drop of water which is released, whether to business, whether to release it for the domestic purposes, drinking purposes, or for agriculture, it is metered, it is measured, there are water budgets are prepared, water plans are prepared. This is not the practice in India. This is not the practice in Punjab, India. Though Punjab is considered to be water sufficient in that sense. But you need to conserve resources, to plan your resource utilization, to see that your water use efficiency improves. Now, right now we are working at a 40% water use efficiency, where in California, in the valley, I am told that it is above 70%. Now, if you have to improve the water use efficiency, you need to do it proper planning. You need to see proper water is metered. If you need about, let's say, 1 gallon of water to produce 1 kilo of rice or 1 kilo of wheat, you need to measure that. this kind of a measurement, assessment, the planning and the budgeting of water is not done. Now that is what we mandated in the law of 2020, the water regulatory law. But unfortunately, the preparation of the integrated water plans, the water budgets, the water utilization efficiency plans, efficiency measurement schemes, those things have not so far been put in practice. Now the government has come out with a draft plan. It had set up a committee of first the sectoral officers, the technical officers. Now the technical officers have given their first report, and that report has now been given to the Department of Water Conservation and Department of Hydrology in the Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar. Punjab Agriculture University is also assisting them. Now they are trying to do a technically sound water development, water utilization plan. I hope the plan comes up soon and will be accepted by the farmers, by all the water users, and government will try and implement. But even 5 years, 6 years after the law has been enacted, the plan, the concrete plan, the authentic statutory plan is not still in implementation. But we are waiting for to see that the plan is implemented, not only to use water, to improve water use efficiency, but to see that the river basins are improved in a better way. The river basin governance improves, the farmers living in the basin areas get their dues, and their problems, their issues, their grievances are addressed. So all these things are being considered. They are still at a consideration stage, but I am sure the day sooner the day will come when we will see the plans and we'll see a better basin management, better basin governance, and better water use efficiency.
Thank you. We're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be right back after this. This is the Maddy Report. Welcome back. Suresh Kumar, thanks for joining the Maddy Report today, and I really appreciate you traveling to be here, not only all the way from India, but also here to Fresno, California, to record this conversation.
It's my pleasure, Blake.
Well, we're glad to have you. Still, there's much to be done in regards to agriculture and water policies in Punjab and the San Joaquin Valley. We've talked about some of the comparative cases between both regions, but before you go, I still want to discuss what needs to be done looking into the future. Here in the San Joaquin Valley, farm workers and water managers have concerns regarding groundwater. You spoke a little bit about the enforcement mechanisms that we have here in California and the differences. But what do you see, generally speaking, are the biggest obstacles to improving recharge and introducing sound public policy that balances the needs of agriculture, but also recharging the depleted groundwater basins, not just in the valley, but also in Punjab as well?
Blake, though I've said it earlier, but I'll first, again, even at the cost of repetition, major challenge is how to improve water use efficiency, how to conserve more water, how to save our water. These are limited resources. These are economic resources where that need to be. On the other side, the challenge is both for Valley, the California, state of California, and the state of Punjab in India, is that we need to make our agriculture operations, make our agriculture while looking after for you, more of commercial production, more of export-oriented, market-oriented production. And while we look for more production for our food security to feed our population, we need to see that we achieve whether commercial productions, whether commercial enhancement, or whether we achieve more production for our food security, we need to enhance the sustainability of our production, both on the commercial side as well as on the subsistence or food side. At the same time, to meet these challenges, to overcome the issue of sustainability, to overcome the problems of water depletion, water conservation, issue of inefficient use of water, both the states, we are facing the fragmented basin management. We need to improve the basin governance and basin management. We cannot just leave, the districts will do something else, the states will do something else, the national policies will. How do we see that there is a better coordination in the various structures, whether it is sub-district level structures of water management, agriculture management, whether it is state level, district level structures of agriculture and water management, whether it is state level, you have California and we have Punjab, or whether it is federal or national level systems. Now, land availability for recharge is not available. On the one side, the quantity of water available is limited, and on the other side, the rainfall is depleting, and then we don't have to have big chunks of land which can be you can create reservoirs and storage capacity to recharge water, subsoil water or groundwater. Now that's an issue. You have issue of legal rights on the water. People think it's a basic right, it's a human right, which is what it is. But no right comes free of charge. It's not free of charge in a country like US, but it is considered to be free of charge in India. And we have a large population to feed, not only for drinking purposes, for food purposes and other things. Now, there are short-term economic pressures. Do we look at the short-term policies of which the political or the policy makers look for? They look for 5 years, 7 years, 4 years term. Or should we look for the long-term policies and do not really go for short-term requirements? So there is some trade-off, some balancing needs to be done. And in that balancing process, political sensitivities, the sensitivities of livelihood, the sensitivities of internal efficiencies and external efficiencies of resource use. Now, same water which is a big resource for Punjab, which is a big important resource for California, can become a resource scarce if you don't conserve it. If you don't increase its efficiency. Look what will happen to Punjab, as I said earlier. If I am operating at a 40% water use efficiency in Punjab, if I raise it to 70%, how much water I will consume? Yeah, I will conserve. Now, if same resource can be a curse, same resource can become a divine intervention for you, but you have to put economic value to it. People can make money if you conserve water. More people can earn livelihoods. We can do this. Now, how do we do this? It requires deeper thinking, deeper policy making the policies more contextual, trying the policies of the federal governments, the state governments and the district governments, try to integrate the policies and try and see that the water resources are used efficiently, used for better production in terms of better quantity and better quality production of the agriculture produce, and that produce goes to the market, fetches you good value. Your livelihood improves, the quality of food for the people improves, and quality of revenue for the state improves. That's how we need to do the agriculture, not the way we are doing it.
Well, it sounds like a great path forward and certainly leaves a lot of thoughts for folks to consider. Suresh Kumar, thank you so much for joining the Maddy Report today. Really appreciate you being on the program and for your insights and thoughts.
Thank you, Blake. It's my pleasure, and I look forward for more interaction with the Maddy School of Public Policy. Public policy has always been my first love in terms of governance, because I've done all my work in trying to see that the policies become more public-oriented, more people-oriented, and that's the effort we need to do in food policy, in energy policy, in water policy, in agriculture. Thank you for having me here.
Well, we certainly look forward to having you back. Thank you again.
Thank you, Blake.
And thank you for tuning into the Maddy Report. To learn more about the Maddy Institute, visit themaddyinstitute.org. The views expressed in the Maddy Report are those of the individuals participating in the program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Maddy Institute. If you'd like to share your thoughts about today's episode of the Maddy Report, please visit our website at maddyinstitute.com.